Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and this is my 56th Saturday vlog. And as you can see, I made it back to Monria, although I did get shot down. Apparently piracy is still a thing. I didn't realize I still had some pills on me, so I lost some of those pills. I'm sure Warspade's laughing in the background. I deserve it. But I'm back on Monria, and so I'm going to be hunting some Shoggoths. Oh, wow. Maybe not these particular Shoggoths, though. Holy crap. This is the first time I've been back since the graphics upgrade, and just the comparison. Okay, we're going after some heavier duty Shoggoths. Like, what the hell? I might have to increase my brightness slightly. Although I'm not in this. Look at these things. Like, the level of ugly has been increased 100-fold. Oh, this was not supposed to be the topic of my vlog. But, I mean, can you blame me? Okay, wow, yeah, that kind of subsumed me for a minute. So, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please make sure you take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Speaking of which, these guys, no, they are not. And of course, if you would like to support the channel, please consider becoming a Patreon. Go to patreon.com/JulianMcBain. Alright, so... that's not it. There we go. Okay, so what I really wanted to talk about tonight was not killing Shoggoths. Shubs, cultists. Track that one too. So they are not yet in Codex. So I'm actually recording this on Wednesday because this is my opportunity to record it. Tomorrow, Thursday, I'm probably going to be doing a live stream tomorrow for me, and you'll already know this. I'm probably going to be doing a live stream of Fortnite. And then Friday, after work, as soon as I'm out of work, I'm jumping in my Jeep, and I'm headed down to Sunapee, New Hampshire, where I'm renting or I can't say me. A group that I'm affiliated with is renting a cabin. And then on Saturday morning, we're driving down to Manch, Vegas, which is Manchester, New Hampshire, for those of you who aren't locals, for an SCA event, which is one of the largest tournaments of the year. It's going to be something like 100, 150 fighters, I think. And it's what we call a bear pit. So everyone gets in line, and they run 6 Erics, or rings, at a time. And we all jump into the ring, or we each pair off 12 people at a time, 6 fights at a time. Winner stays, loser cycles, and you just new fighters cycle in as they go. You win 3 times, you cycle out to take a break. At the end of, I think it's 3 hours. At the end of 3 hours, they tally all the points. You know, every win you get a point. The person you beat has to report your number. They take it down. Whoever has the most points at the end of the 3 hours wins. And you can be a little strategic with it. You know, conserve some energy, take a break, do all that. But in the long run, it's an endurance match. And so, Jesus Christ, they did a good job on the upgrade with these. And so, with that, I'm really looking forward to it because I participated last year. I did okay. A big part of my problem last year is I choked for a good chunk of it last year. Like, not nearly at my best fighting strength. And part of the reason for that is because I was nervous. I had my scarfing test. You know, that was the day I became a black tiger, because after that 3-hour endurance tournament, I did a 10-minute endurance test, which was far more intensive than the whole 3-hour tournament. Like, I was far more tired after the 10 minutes than I was for the whole 3-hour tournament. And I think I would have anyway, because I've done some endurance training since then, and it's far more intense. So this year I don't have to worry about the test because I have the scarf. And so I'm really looking forward to going and just relaxing. I've decided to, I'm not focused on, I want to win the tournament, but I'm not focused on winning the tournament. That's not what I'm there to do. I'm there to practice fighting high-level fighters only with a single sword. So for those of you who aren't familiar with historical fencing, the way I fence and the way the SCA and HEMA fence, it's not the thin foils that you see in Olympic fencing, and we don't fight along a runway or a piste. We fight in a box, as I've previously mentioned, or a ring, and you can carry things in your offhand. So like, I'm right-handed, so I carry the sword in my right. Usually for my style, I carry a dagger in the left with a sail hilt, so it covers the hand. Well, for this tournament, I've decided to not use the dagger and fight all single sword against all comers, no matter what they're taking. So some are going to have a shield, some are going to have a cloak, some are going to have a dagger. Some will give it up. I will offer to let them keep it and let them know, you know, I'm authorized in everything, but I'm doing this for self-training. And go from there. And just see how well I do. Honestly, it's important to fight other styles with just single sword, because if you can perfect single sword, everything else is much easier. And it's something I've neglected to my own detriment. I really have, and I understand, and I know this. Like, a lot of my practices these days are single sword, because I know I've been neglecting it to my own detriment. And so that's the plan, and I'm looking forward to the challenge, and I'm looking forward to the fights. There are going to be some fighters there I haven't fought in a while. I'm looking forward to facing off against them, maybe do some pickups in between the tournament rounds. Now, there is a not zero chance, because I'm also trying to become, so I'm a marshal, which is a basically a safety officer, not really a ref, but a safety person. You know, make sure the equipment doesn't fail, make sure no one's getting hurt, because, you know, we're slinging steel at each other, we're going super fast, and we're not, these aren't thin foils, they're actually standard sized blades. A little more flexible than the quote unquote real thing, but not by a lot. And so in my experience, I have either had or seen, and these aren't sharp, and there's a bird blunt, but accidents happen. So you can get cut if someone percusses you hard enough. Had that happen, because I wasn't paying attention and did not stop the new kid from doing it. That was my fault. Concussions have happened. And this is mostly my fault as well. I've gotten broken ribs doing this, or not broken, but green stick fracture. Now, keep in mind, I've suffered two percussive cuts, both of which were accidents, and the green stick fractured the ribs. And that's the extent of all of my injuries after 7 years. So it's not like injuries are common. And for the cuts, they always, like, the first one was because I was new, and the second one, it was the first time the kid had ever held a sword for that purpose, so they didn't know the rules yet. So again, as the person who was in charge of training, that was on me that I did not correct. But these things do happen. Oh, and the fractured ribs are what happens when two people lunge at each other at the same time. Oops. That's also what happens when you're not doing what you're supposed to and you're kind of messing around because it's the end of the day and you're good friends and you just kind of want to, you know, have a couple of fun rounds. Safety first. Safety is our superpower. Come on. A little laggier than I remember, but that might just be me. Honestly, I probably sustained more injuries over the course of 7 years than any 10 fencers of this type. And part of it's because I treat my body like an amusement park. You know, I don't care if I get hurt. I care if other people get hurt. I don't want other people getting hurt. But I care if I get hurt. I don't care if I get hurt. Because I'll heal. Which is not a terrific attitude to have, I know. I care a lot more now than I did 7 years ago. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to the weekend, and I think we're going to have a good time. I'm going to be making midnight bacon on Friday night. Well, it won't be midnight because I'm old now, so midnight doesn't really happen in my world. It's going to be more like 9, 10 o'clock bacon. But the idea is that it's midnight bacon. So it's going to be bacon and scotch. And then, yeah, Saturday it's fighting, and then we go back to the house in Sunapee for the night, and then Sunday morning I'll drive home. I might make more bacon for Saturday night. I haven't decided yet. Depends on how full we are after dinner. Because let me tell you, fighting is hungry work. Transmograph. What a name. Although I think that is actual Lovecraftian language, so I can't say much there. They did such a good job with the new version. I'm gonna have to go back and watch some of my old videos just to see how much they've changed. You should too. So yeah, that's my weekend, so there won't be a whole lot of game playing this weekend. I'll spend my free time chatting with friends and during quiet hours reading, which I've been really into reading the Irregular at Magic High School series, now that they've translated the novels into English. I watched the anime series, my weeb is on my sleeve, several times. It's one of my fallback ones, because I enjoy the storyline, I enjoy the premise of it. But it's really nice to actually be able to read the original plot, which, to be fair to the anime, within the bounds of what they could do with it, they actually followed the plot almost to the letter. Like, they had to truncate a few things, because they only had so many episodes they could work within. But they didn't truncate a whole lot. Like, this is what I expect out of a series when they're doing a book. And they did a terrific job with it. And then the book series so far, I'm actually beyond where the anime ends now. And it's just getting better. I'm like, okay, we're past where the anime is. Did they stop it because it started going downhill? Or did they stop it because they ran out of their licensing? And it's obvious they ran out of what they were licensed to do, or at least time or something. because it's just getting better. So that will be the downtime, what downtime I get during the trip. Tomorrow I might be doing some Fortnite live before I leave. I don't know. If I do, it'll probably be like a half-hour stream. I might do one tonight if I can get all the stuff I need for the weekend done. I'm tempted. There's a cash cup or something going on. I don't have the time to participate in it. I'm actually stealing time to do the vlog now, because normally I have to do it after my son's in bed, and he's actually occupied and happy, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take half an hour and do one of my recordings. Why not? That's one of the benefits once the children get into the preteen years. You know, they start to entertain themselves for a little while. And don't get me wrong, like, we had dinner together, we had a good conversation. The other day we played Gary's mod. He actually downloaded a mod for Gary's mod that's all a real-time strategy game. And we played that. I did win, but he did really good. And to my, you know, to be fair to him, I lived on real-time strategy for many, many years. My whole childhood is all real-time strategy. I didn't want to play anything else. Most kids were playing, you know, most of the video games were playing first-person shooters or that sort of thing. I was like, nope, give me RTSs. RTSs and flight simulators, that's what I was into. Nowadays, I'll play just about anything. Oh, and JRPGs. Played a lot of JRPGs. I know. Although with the new FF7 remake coming out, I think I'm going to add that to the list here pretty quick. Okay. Gotta say, the Land of No Taxes thing is really nice. Well, my problem is now I gotta smuggle all this shit back to Calypso. Ugh. So yeah, as for the speaking of first-person shooters and, you know, live streaming Fortnite, which was not in my original plan at all. Like that, this whole thing has just sort of happened. And by the time you're watching this, it'll have been, I think, maybe a whole week. I'm still not entirely sure how it all happened. It was just like, hey, do you want to, you know, join this chat? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And suddenly it's like, okay, guys, you're all here to be recruited for a team. Good luck. And I'm like, okay. Which, it's been fun. You know, the grind chats are pretty decent. It's very obvious that I'm most likely the oldest person in both of the ones I'm in by like 10 years. Which is fine. But like, I made a Dragon Ball Z reference and he didn't even know what it was. And that kind of hurt me a little bit. and not that, you know, and it wasn't because they didn't like anime. It's because they're like, well, I grew up on Naruto. And I'm going, oh, get off my lawn. Which I find hilarious, because I never, you know, when you're a kid and you're doing that, you never think you're going to be the one to say, you know, oh, wow, you're young. and actually mean it, like unironically. And then I remember, oh yeah, I have a son in the Navy. And sometimes it just doesn't click. Which, for those of you wondering, yes, I'm 35. Yes, he's 19. He's a stepson. I really don't care that. I don't pay attention to the step part. Even though my lady and I aren't even married yet. I don't pay attention to the step part. Or even the future step part. But for those of you scratching your heads over the how, that's how. Blended family. And it occurs to me not for the first time that means that, yes, potentially, we could get a phone call saying that at 36, because I'm almost 36 now, I could be a grandparent. Which I'm actually more terrified of for my lady than I am for myself. I have to admit, it's really nice, and I don't know why I said it that way, but it's really nice being back on Monria. You know, the moonscape reminds me a lot of the Badlands. I mean, yes, you're in craters and everything, but I mean, just the desert-like landscape, the giant rocks. The crater walls are actually very similar to the way buttes operate in places like Montana, and I really enjoyed living out there. I mean, it definitely had its disadvantages. Boy, did it have its disadvantages, right? They haven't seen above 0 Fahrenheit weather since December. I'll say that again. They haven't seen above 0 Fahrenheit weather since December. And they aren't likely to until March. And I used to live out there. And it gets windy. So if you think, you know, wherever you live, unless you're in Canada, you think you're cold, you don't know cold until you've been in 40 below 0 with 60-mile-an-hour winds. Actually, the worst I saw was 42 below 0, 72 miles an hour straight out of the north, so it's a polar wind. And 72 miles an hour is hurricane force there, kids. And I have seen this. They were straight line winds. I have seen this. I have been in it. It is not fun. I don't even want to know what the wind chill was that night. My Crown Vic, because that's what I was driving at the time. So, and we're talking the old steel body 1994 Ford Crown Vic. The thing was a tank. And it was the police model too, so it had the supercharged engine. The thing would pass everything but a gas station. I actually had local cops going, yeah, if you ever wanted to give us trouble, there's no way in hell I'd be able to catch you. It's like, yeah, my father-in-law at the time was a police officer, and he's actually now undersheriff in the county he lives in, way out in Montana. But I said, yeah, the chances of that happening are 0, because that would just create a lot of awkward Thanksgiving conversations, and they would laugh. Okay. Let's do one more. Then we'll start headed back to the base camp. I'm actually surprised I haven't had to heal once. Which is probably because of all of the evade skills I've managed to gather over time. And the extra hit points I've got. Look at the contrast between my jacket and my skull mask. The skull mask is like just glowing. I guess the skull mask is happy to be back on Monria too. I can't remember. Does Does this place get a day-night cycle? I think it does. I want to say it does. I don't know if this is Cthulhu Towers or the other tower. I think this is Cthulhu Tower. There we go. You know, the noises they make remind me of a crocodile or an alligator. Bloop. Come on. Okay. I have unread messages. Try to get back to the base. Am I being chased? Probably not. There's a crater. Or the forensics. DSEC forensics. Oh, okay, there's someone over here in combat. I'm like, it sounds like something's trying to take a bite out of me. Alright guys, I'm back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. As always, really appreciate all your support. You all have a wonderful day.